How's it, everyone? Okay, so I've released a service note out on battery backup. I just want to explain why I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So the way all the Kamos were set up in the last 2 years that we've been building is your SWC top position is battery backup, middle is neutral, down is spinner. Unfortunately, guys, when they boot their remotes, obviously it says all switches up, throttle down. By default you're in battery backup. Guys forget to put the stick back to neutral, and they keep running in the battery backup mode, which is obviously incorrect because it's only there for emergencies. So yeah, it's very convenient to have it on the stick obviously, but majority of the guys are forgetting it in the top position. So if they use their spinner, they also all the way tend to move it back to top, which is wrong. It should be back into middle. So what's then happening is, so if I boot this boat up now, this is the scenario that we're in. This is battery backup, this is spinner. So most of the guys they're like that. They've booted the boat up, they've booted into backup automatically, and they leave it like that. This is only designed to run as an emergency and only to be used when the boat goes into crawl mode and then you have to give power to a already flat main battery. Now what you're doing, unfortunately, is you're running both batteries at the same time. So obviously our backup battery is a smaller capacity battery and your main battery is a big capacity. And if this is full, you're going to eventually overload this little battery and it could catch fire. It is merely just for an emergency, and unfortunately having it conveniently placed on the switch is obviously putting guys at a bit of a disadvantage because they don't realize that they're running a backup the whole time. They think it's off. So what we're going to do now going forward is I'm going to remove it off the switch. I'm going to put it back to the way it used to be. Top would be battery backup. You would have to hold it there. Down would be spinner. Okay, battery backup, spinner, neutral. So there's no way that the customer can keep it in backup by mistake. If you want to use it this way, that's fine, as long as you realize that you need to put that into neutral position, then it's fine. But also, once again, let's say I'm a customer, I've left this in backup by mistake. Even when I turn this boat off, boat's off, remote's still on, I'm still in backup. I've still got this is now live. It's live all the time, so you could earth it against something and short it out because you're engaged in backup the entire time. So we need to unfortunately eliminate this scenario of guys making this mistake, and a lot of guys do it, unfortunately. It's just one of those things. So that's going to be our workaround. I've also recommend for guys that want to keep it on the old way, I'm going to ship this out with boats anyway, just a blank off to put on here, so that if you do forget it in there, you're not, the wire's not live the whole time. So we want to change this. If you want to change it to the new style setup, we're going to have to do it as follows. So we need to work on our receiver here. So we're going to turn the boat off, and I'm going to try and keep this as realistic as possible. So your boat would look like this. If you had a speed controller, not a speed controller, if you had a voltage sensor installed, the voltage sensor would be this one here. So to make space for yourself, just for the time being, you can pull this top one out, just to get it out the way. And if you have a reverse function on your boat now, that'll be the reverse function here, this one wire. Okay, if that's in your way, you can remove it. Okay, so I'm going to just tuck this away for now. That's the voltage sensor that goes on the top left one. And all we need to do now is swap port 5. So number 5, channel 5. Pull channel 5 out for me. I'm trying to keep it as realistic as possible, that this is what you're going to be dealing with. Okay, so I'm going to just pull that out. I only have one hand to work with the filming. Okay, so channel 5 I've removed. And all you're going to do now is slot it into channel 2 for me. So channel 2 is next to channel 1. It's an open port. pop it in there. So channel 2. So from 5 to 2, we just slot it in. Obviously you keep the orientation right. Over there. Okay, all one-handed. Make sure all your other cables are back in place. Everything's in place. Now I can plug that voltage sensor back in again if I have it installed, or if you have it installed. I'm going to plug that one back in. There we go. Cool. Now, if I turn my my system on. Okay, turning it on. Now you'll see down, battery backup is now engaged. Okay, so we want to reverse, I want to reverse the scenario. So what we can do is we're going to go into the menu now. Unfortunately, we hold this button in. We use this to navigate up and down. We're going to go to spanner, we say OK. We're going to go to reverse, we say OK. We're going to go across to channel 2, channel 2, and we're going to say, use the up there, reverse, hold the cancel in. Now down will be spinner, see spinner, and top battery backup. Okay, like that. If we want to fine tune, how far the servo moves against those switches, if it's maybe over forcing itself, you can fine tune it in the same menu. We're going to scroll down to endpoints, say OK. Scroll down to channel 2. Sorry, it's going to be this one here. Channel 2. And if you hold, I've only got one hand. If I hold down and I keep it engaged, if I use the sides here, you can go up and down with your, and you can adjust that how far that presses against the switch. And then the same for up, hold up, see it jumps across, and I can adjust that endpoint till I have my desired press, like that. Once you've set those two values, hold cancel in, and that's it, everything's set up. So now we're on spinner, battery backup. Okay, and there's no way you can leave that in the top position now. It's, yeah, I prefer this because I know that I've got it in neutral, but let's just say for the average Joe that's forgetting this now, it's causing a problem for himself. Yeah, I think it's just safer to have it on the stick then, rather. Cool, and then that's set up, and then you can carry on fishing. If you want to leave it the other way around, fair to you. Just remember, this is live. If you forget it in battery backup, if you keep driving in battery backup, you will eventually burn out the battery, possibly the boat, if you're not careful. The only time to engage battery backup is when your boat goes into crawl mode. You'll see the boat starts going slowly. That means it's trying to protect the main battery. The ECU is now picked up that it's too low. Only then should you engage backup, and you drive the boat slowly back, disengage backup, because as soon as you turn this boat off and you're still in backup mode with this switch, it'll be live all the time. Okay, so word of warning. Yeah, so that's our little service bulletin. If you want to swap it across to this stick here, which is channel 2, please follow my instructions.